What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including The Rock promising disruption to the WWE, Jade Cargill's return imminent, Fox denies wrestling deal with Vince McMahon, WWE wants the Hardy Boys back on the main roster, a huge IC title match planned for WrestleMania 41, the truth behind this awkward moment in AEW, Asuka roast wrestling reviews, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first story looks at The Rock promising disruption to WWE, and what is behind The Rock's recent statement that he wants Cody Rhodes' soul. Fans have been puzzling over this ever since the final boss appeared on last week's SmackDown, and now The Rock is giving fans an inkling of what to expect, as he tweeted, "Thanks for watching the show. We have some disruptive moves coming up, so tune in. Love playing this audacious, unpredictable character known as the final boss. Toronto, Canada, I'll see you this weekend at Elimination Chamber." Now, whilst we have our reservations on whether this whole storyline was planned or not, WWE SmackDown producer TJ Wilson, aka Tyson Kidd, mentioned when he found out about The Rock coming back. "I found out kinda when everyone else did, when it was announced on Twitter. Everything The Rock touches, especially when it comes to wrestling, it becomes exciting and very unpredictable. You don't know what he's gonna say, let alone what he's gonna do on TV. Now, whether or not this storyline plays out well remains to be seen, but fans should get a definitive answer from Cody this Saturday." Next up, the Backstage reaction to the women's tag title switch. Now, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and the first three-time champions to boot. But now reports are coming in on the Backstage reaction and what it means for the women's division going forward, and how long the title switch had been planned for before this week's Raw, where Bianca Belair and Naomi dropped the belt. A PW Insider reports that WWE officials were really happy with the crowd's reaction, and that it more than met their expectations for a main event match. The site also notes that the title switch had to be planned for some time. You may recall a report earlier this year that they were planning to push the Judgment Day's Deadly Duo. There was no word on whether this means an extended run with the belts or a program where Liv and Raquel will elevate a new team, but considering how woeful the women's tag division has been booked, fans may want to keep their expectations low, as this isn't the first time we've heard a big push was planned for the women's tag championships. Recall Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler's woeful run when the WWE promised big things and dropped the ball. Next up, Jade Cargill's return is imminent. Now, is Jade Cargill finally returning to WWE after she was written off last November? PW Insider reports that it's believed that Bianca Belair and Naomi dropping the belts will lead to Jade Cargill's return and the revelation of who really took her out of action months ago. There's still no confirmation on why Jade was written off TV, with some speculation it was due to a real-life injury, and other speculation it was for personal reasons. As far as the storyline of who took Cargill out, fans seem to have lost a little interest in it. Barring an incredible twist, and one that actually makes sense, this may become an anticlimactic mystery like the one where Dexter Lumis was stalking The Miz for unknown reasons. Did we ever find out an answer for that? Next up, Fox denies a wrestling deal with Vince McMahon. Now, there's an update concerning yesterday's rumors that Vince McMahon is contemplating a return to running a wrestling promotion, and that new entity might be working with Fox, the network that previously carried SmackDown. However, The Athletic's Andrew Marchand is reporting that Fox is not involved. There's a report that Vince McMahon might start a wrestling company with Fox as a partner. If McMahon is planning that or not, I don't know, but the Fox part is not true, according to a network spokesman. Now, as you mentioned, it's unknown if Vince is thinking about starting a wrestling company, but we now know Fox is not involved. While there have been rumors of Vince putting together a team for an entertainment company, McMahon has two major lawsuits pending against him. Cultaholic reminded readers that the 79-year-old is still facing legal challenges in the form of former WWE employee Janelle Grant's lawsuit against himself, John Laurinaitis, and WWE, as well as a lawsuit by former WWE Ring Boys that also names WWE, TKO, and Linda McMahon as defendants. However, these are civil lawsuits, so McMahon may still feel he can deal with any litigation while moving ahead on the rumored entertainment company or wrestling company. Next up, a huge multi-man IC title match planned for WrestleMania 41. A current Intercontinental Champion Bron Breakker may be in for his biggest match to date, as a new story from WrestleVote suggests that Breakker will have to deal with multiple opponents at this year's show of shows. WrestleVotes mentioned they're tossing around a multi-man, as has become a tradition at WrestleMania, whether it be the Intercontinental title or tag team titles last year. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a multi-man type of match. I'm not saying that there's going to be a ladder involved, don't know if that's the direction they're going, but I doubt it's Bron Breakker versus X in a one-on-one match. WWE has hinted at Breakker being chased by more than one challenger, and it's teased a program with AJ Styles and more recently a Breakker versus Finn Balor match. A match involving various opponents would allow the WWE to take the belt off Braun without him taking a pinfall, something which could protect him, especially if WWE is elevating him into the WWE World title picture. Who should be involved in this multi-man match though? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Tony Fumbled. Now, is AEW President Tony Khan suffering roster regret following his decision to release Ricky Starks? While that's unknown, NXT fans had some laughs at Khan's expense during Ricky Saints, formerly Starks, NXT match with chants of Tony Fumbled breaking out during the bout. Ricky did a great job not corpsing, but we imagine Ricky was laughing inside as his NXT run is already off to a great start. NXT featured another electrifying episode that included Saints' debut, the Hardys defeating the No Quarter Catch crew, and TNA World Champion Moose successfully defending the title against NXT Heritage Cup champion Lexis King. Now, NXT has been picking up steam with more than a few fans claiming it's the best wrestling show right now. Next up, a Blockbuster Bouts booked for NXT Roadblock. WWE and TNA are wasting no time when it comes to utilizing both promotions' rosters, as WWE have recently announced 2 intercompany title matches for its 11th March NXT Roadblock special. The first involves TNA World Champions the Hardy Boyz defending their belts against NXT Tag Champions Fraxium, while the second involves TNA X Division Champion Moose challenging NXT Champion Oba Femi for Femi's title. In addition, NXT North American Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquero will battle NXT Women's Champion Julia in a winner-takes-all match. Now, if this card is any hint of how the NXT TNA partnership will play out, fans of both promotions are in for a hell of a 2025. But that's not all, as WWE wants the Hardy Boyz back on the main roster. Matt and Jeff Hardy made a triumphant return to WWE programming on last night's NXT, and Jeff didn't look to miss a beat, even pulling off a lovely whisper in the wind and vaulting off Brother Matt to a roaring crowd. WWE have already confirmed that the Hardys will put the belts on the line at NXT Roadblock, but it seems that WWE want even more. The duo could be landing on the Raw or SmackDown brands soon, as WrestleVotes is reporting WWE has dropped a brand new Hardy Boyz shirt ahead of the NXT return tonight. Internally, there's buzz that this is just the beginning, with creative sources optimistic the legendary duo will have a main roster program sometime this spring/summer. Fans are already getting into fantasy booking online, proposing programs between the Hardys and DIY, other dream matches, and a potential run with one of the main roster's tag titles. There's also many people lobbying for the WWE to induct both Matt and Jeff into this year's Hall of Fame. Next up, the truth behind this awkward segment on Dynamite. Now it's time for an update on a segment from last week's Dynamite where heels Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford delivered a post-match beatdown to Chris Statlander, only for Thunder Rosa to show up for the save with a steel chair in hand. Cultaholic described the strange events that followed, saying that Bayne and Ford stood their ground while Thunder Rosa simply just didn't use the steel chair. Rosa and Ford then had a tug of war over the chair before Rosa reclaimed it. Bayne and Ford next slowly exited the ring as Rosa continued not to use the chair as a weapon until the former AEW Women's World Champion finally threw it at Bayne and Ford's feet once they were on the rampway. Some fans were really left scratching their heads, with Cultaholic pointing out that there was even speculation that Bayne and Ford went into business for themselves. However, the truth has now finally been revealed, as Fightful Select is reporting the blunder was a result of a miscommunication between a producer and the wrestlers. The wrestlers involved addressed the situation afterward, and there was no history of heat between them before the segment or after. Next up, a WWE Tag Team Headed to AEW. Now, our recently released wrestlers Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, aka the Good Brothers, headed to AEW. Whilst this is still in the rumor stage, a social media post by AEW Executive Vice President Nick Jackson mentioned Jackson posted a photo with his brother Matt, AJ Styles, Anderson, and Gallows all posing together many years ago. Gallows and Anderson have had a long history with the Elite, and rumor has it that the team passed on a chance to join the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega during AEW's early years. Now, the duo did have a brief run in 2021 in AEW, but whether this leads to a full return is unknown. And finally, Asuka roasts wrestling reviews. Last but not least, Asuka has been in beast mode online, dishing out some red-hot replies to people she disagrees with, whether it's music critics or wrestling critics. Asuka recently responded to a tweet where a fan posted a screenshot of a CageMatch.net review for Asuka vs Mickie James with a 6.3 rating out of 10, but she mentioned, "Do you really let worthless garbage reviews dictate your choices? Be it games or cars, reviews mean nothing. There's nothing more pathetic than surrounding your own judgment to someone else's opinion. Take full control of your own thoughts. What do you guys think of Asuka's tweet? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.